welcome to the Action Campaign's video series explaining the legislative provisions in the Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act of 2023. In this video, Ariane and I will discuss Section 302, which would simplify the housing credit's 10-year rule and related party rule. So another goal of the Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act is to improve the program by streamlining unnecessarily complex program rules. Ariane, can you explain what the 10-year rule and related party rule are?
I'd be happy to do that. Both of these rules date back to the beginning of the program when things were very different than they are now. Let's start with the 10-year rule. When Congress created the housing credit back in 1986, it was concerned about investors churning real estate to take advantage of property appreciation due to the accelerated depreciation rules enacted in 1981. So Congress established a rule that barred the acquisition of properties placed in service at any time during the last 10 years. Of course, that was 4 decades ago now, and the 10-year rule is not relative any longer. Yet it still exists and unnecessarily prevents the acquisition of properties that would otherwise be eligible for preservation.
So how would this legislation help?
The AHCIA would allow owners to claim housing credits for acquisition of properties placed in service within the last 10 years. However, it limits the acquisition basis of the building to the lowest price paid for the building during the last 10 years, adjusted for the cost of living, plus any capital improvements.
Sounds fair. What about the related party rule? How does that work?
Again, this rule stretches back to the beginning of the program. It prevents a developer from taking acquisition credits on a property if the building was owned at any time in the past by a related party to the developer. The idea being that it is to prevent a prior owner from generating acquisition credits upon the transfer of the property to itself or a related party.
I can see why Congress would want to do that. What's the problem?
Well, the problem is that there is no time limit in place for the related party rule, and sometimes it can be difficult to determine the owners of the interest in a partnership from many years ago. Investors often invest in a fund that includes many investors, and the fund may be used to invest in many different properties. Moreover, there's a limited pool of housing credit investors, so this rule has really impeded the preservation in practice.
So what's the fix to the related party rule problem?
The AHCIA would allow properties to qualify for acquisition credits so long as the property is not acquired directly from a related party and a related party has not owned the building at any time during the 5 years prior to the acquisition.
Sounds like this would really help with preservation. Thanks, Ariane. For more of our video series, visit the Action Campaign's website at rentalhousingaction.org.